yesterday we heard two. Uh, so right now we are in the last phase of Bhagavatam Tales of Part 3 book, where we are covering small stories of great personalities. So we covered Amrish Maharaj, and we in last session we covered how Mother Ganges comes down. So Bhagirath, how Bhagirath brings Mother Ganges down to the earth because he wanted to revive his 60,000 ancestors. So his ancestors uh, who were following the horse. Basically, they were searching for the horse Ashwamedha, the horse which their father Sagara was doing. Sagar was doing a Ashwamedha again. Indra had stolen that horse and kept it at Kapil Muni's ashrams, outside Kapil Muni's ashram. And then these 60,000 princes, the sons of Sagar, they searched for the horse, and they found it outside Kapil Muni's ashram, and they thought that Kapil Muni has only stolen it. And but Kapil Muni, when he woke up from his meditation, when he opened his eyes, these 60,000 princes were burned to ashes because they were blaming him, criticizing. So criticizing Vaishnava is a very wrong thing. So that's why they were. And then there were various people who in the dynasty who tried to revive this. So Kapil Muni gave a solution that these 60,000 ancestors can be revived only by when Mother Ganges water touches them. But Mother Ganges at that time was not flowing on planet Earth, so she was supposed to be brought down, and everybody tried, and finally Bhagirath, pleased, did lot of austerity, pleased Mother Ganges to come. The Mother Ganges came down only on two conditions, saying that so she raised two conditions. One is, I'll come with such a great force, and who will be able to take my pressure at that speed which I'll come. So then Bhagirath gave a solution that Lord Shiva will be able to take it. And second was people who will take bath in my waters, and they will their sins will be passed on to me. Then how will those sins what I accumulate, how those will be cured? So then Bhagirath told the pure souls, the pure sages, devotees will also take bath, and they will help that reduce the sins. So this is what we, and then Mother Ganges finally comes, and Bhagirath also does austerity to please Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva also agrees to take Mother Ganga on her side. Then with when Mother Ganga comes, and these 60,000 princes are revived, and then they also go to heavenly planets after that. And we saw how determination, how if somebody is determined for a right cause by pleasing the Lord, he can be successful. So this was the learning there. And then there was the next chapter of one Saudasa king who became a Rakshasa. So he had actually killed a Rakshasa, and the Raksasa's brother came as a cook in his house, and he gave flesh in the food to sage Vasisht when he had come as a guest to Saudasa's house. And then the curse happened. So here one important thing was, the cooking of the food for sages and guests, special guests who are coming at our house should be done by the family members, not by the cooks, because cooking actually the qualities of that person also enter our body and our mind, so it creates that thought process. So that's the reason we offer food to the Lord before we take. You would have seen recently a small video going of a child, 4-year-old devotee, who is telling, I take water only after offering to the Lord. I just don't take out of water like that. And so we should offer, and plus cooking by family members is very important. We learn. Then we also heard about one story of Hatvanga, who saved the Devtas in a fight against Asuras. So he single-handedly, without any effort, he uh, defeated the Asuras. And when he was asked for a boon from from the from the Devtas, so he asked, what is the balanced time in my life? And he came to know that you have only 48 minutes, one more left, and then immediately he started meditation on Lord Vasudev. So that was a learning of how time should be utilized. Our time is so valuable. So if you are wasting time on things, human life, first thing, human life itself is very valuable, and whatever time we have, if we waste time on gossiping and a lot of unnecessary things, we'll be wasting our life. So a discipline. Time discipline is also important. How we manage our time management. So during the day, we should always plan right things and avoid unwanted, unnecessary things. If we just list down a list of activities, what we do, we'll actually come to know how much time we have wasted. So if you see your mobile, you'll get a screen time. How much screen time you have used in a day or in a week. Just try to reduce that. Unwanted. That is one unwanted thing. Reduce your TV watching unnecessary TV serials or TV this thing. So if we use our time properly, that is important. So then we were continuing that. So Ramayana, Lord Ram also comes in Ikshvaku dynasty. So Dashrath Maharaj, Lord Ram. So they also come. So I told you that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana is not, is just briefly, very, very touched upon because Sukdev Goswami did not want to spend time on Ramayana because Ramayana was known to Parikshit Maharaj. He had read and he did not want to spend because he wanted to give time to Lord Krishna's pastime, which we had not heard about and which were really the great things, learnings from there. So, and next after that, there's a last story from the Sun Dynasty. So, Sun Dynasty will get over with this story. So, there is a story of Nimi, a bodiless emperor. So, there's a bodiless emperor. So, now there's a king named Nimi. So, once he wanted to perform a. So, this is also very, see, these are very small stories, but these are very, very relevant and very practical to apply in our life. So we can learn a lot from this. So this story is also it's a small story, but it's a very valuable learning. So now Nimi is the king. He wanted to perform a sacrifice. Basically, he wanted to do some, because at that time, yagnas and those things also used to happen. So he wanted to perform a sacrifice. So when he wanted to do a sacrifice, he requested Vashisht Muni, like if we were to do some puja or something. So we request a priest, please come or ask the sage that please come and do. I request you to come on this day. I want to do a puja or some yagna sacrifice. So please come. So he requested Vashisht Muni, but Vashisht Muni at the time he was busy. He had some other client. He said, dear Nimi, I have already accepted the duty of a chief priest in another sacrifice conducted by Indra. So Lord Indra is doing a sacrifice. I have accepted his as a chief priest for his sacrifice. So please wait till I perform that sacrifice and come back. So he's telling Nimi, you wait. See, here we learn something ahead. So Vashisht, but Nimi did not say anything and Vashisht left. But Nimi was thinking to himself, I don't know how much I will live if I wait. So I've already decided, on this day I want to do one sacrifice, but my sage is not there. Life is temporary. So why should I delay my sacrifice and waste time? And moreover, there are many other priests. So he's not the one, there are other priests also. I can take their help. Let me ask them to conduct. So this is the way what he did. He took help of some other priest and did the sacrifice, but did not wait for Vashisht. But when Vashisht completed in the sacrifice and he came, he became very angry with Nimi Maharaj. So here Vashisht actually, although he's a sage, he should be pure. Here he's showing a greed factor. He's saying some client says, you didn't wait for me. I'm telling you, wait, I'll come, I'll complete one client and then come. So Lord Indra is a richer client, so definitely. So his thought was, Lord Indra will give me more wealth, more gifts. Nimi is a small king. He's a great king, but he's not as rich as Indra. So Indra is my first preference, and also I have committed also. So he had agreed that I should only do the second this thing also, so that I get the gifts from here. So this greed is very important, dangerous. Also, the sages, and we see nowadays in a lot of priests, they have a lot of greed. That's the reason our people believe on the sages is the priest particularly is not is falling. We are not. We don't believe them sometimes, or we find people complain. They have become greedy. But in today's, but we should give them dakshina. That's not a problem because they also survive with that only. Their survival is with that. Some people you may find greedy, but we can't do something. So here Vashisht is showing that sign of little greed. So now he's come back and he's become angry. He's saying, being so arrogant, you considered yourself very learned and didn't follow my orders. So may your body fall. So what will happen? Sage becomes angry, he will curse. So he's saying your body should fall. So his body was there, body goes away, only the soul remains. So King Ripley said, oh sage, King Nimi also replied to him, saying, oh sage, you are so greedy for the donations from the heavenly king Yandra You have lost your intelligence just for some little wealth. May your body also fall. So he said, your body also fall, let my body also fall. Now, due to this curse, Nimi gave up his body, but after that, the other sages, the Brahmanas, they preserved that body, Nimi's body, with fragrances. And after the completion of the sacrifice, the Brahmanas requested the Devtas, Devtas, if you are pleased with our sacrifice. So they did a separate, special sacrifice to give the body back to Nimi. So please bring back life to Nimi. So these Brahmanas requested Devtas, please bless him, so that he is revived, he gets his life back. So Devtas immediately agreed. But Nimi said, respectable Devtas, please don't imprison me. So very, very important. Now, this is the core of Bhagavad Gita. I'm reading Bhagavad Gita again. So this is a start point. The Bhagavad Gita says, we are not body, we are the soul. So Nimi is actually implementing it. King Nimi is implementing. How he implements? He says, he's telling to the Devtas, respectable Devtas, please don't imprison me in a material body again. Staying in a body is just like staying within a prison cell. I did rather stay in my spiritual body and meditate on the Lord Hari's form and pastime. So he got his life back, but he did not want the body. He's saying, no, I don't want this material body. It is a problem, this body creates a problem. It's a prison for me. So don't give me the body. I will live as a spiritual soul. And I will keep on meditating on Lord Hari. So Devta said, as Nimi wishes, may he not have a material body. So Devtas did not give a material body. That's why Nimi is called a bodiless emperor. So he was present, but he did not have a material body. And let him live in a spiritual body as a personal associate of Lord Vishnu. We bless him with a boon to become visible or invisible to common people whenever he wishes. So he had a boon that Devdas told him, okay, you live in a spiritual body and be a servant, personal associate of Lord Vishnu, and you can be visible, invisible on your choice. Whenever you wish that you want to be visible to people, you will be visible. If you don't, then this way. And he said, the Lord can decide whenever he wants to reveal himself to us and whenever he doesn't want to. So, Lord also has this quality. He also, when you, he will also want us on his will. He will reveal us. He will not reveal it to us. It's his choice. So if you see, when you do chant, if you do worship, or if you do a lot of temple worship, whenever you see a picture of the deity, the deity of Lord, every time you'll find something new in that. You will see something is getting revealed. So, recently I was seeing, just now only, I was seeing the deity of a photo on a video of Banke Bihariji. So Banke Bihariji, you can see his eyes are very beautiful. So there is something white colored like that on his face. I always thought it's his lips. It's the lips of Banke Bihariji. But today when I saw this video, it was a little closer and I realized the lips are down. Actually, lips are not colored. Lips are just down, and it's in the thing. That white color is something designed, some color on the nose. It's actually on the nose. It's not the lips, but the shape looks almost like the lips. So I was saying, so every time I see the Lord deity or something, it reveals something new to me, and we start loving it. But whereas if you see some material things, they will always deteriorate. If you see some person, we will always, you'll stop liking. First time you like somebody, so say an actress or a hero or a material person, if you see, initially you like them, but afterwards you see sometimes as such that the body will start deteriorating. You see all great personalities, they will deteriorate in the material world. But Lord's deity, whenever you keep on seeing, it will improvise. You start seeing you'll start loving more and more. And the Lord will slowly start revealing to you. The Lord will reveal to us depending on our surrender to him, to the Lord, and depending how we are loving the Lord. So his revelation is in that proportion. So Lord slowly reveals to us in a nice way. So here also, we are saying Lord, like the Lord can decide, whenever he wants to reveal himself to us and whenever he does not want. This same privilege of being seen and unseen was given to Nimi. So he was the only king, such a boon was given to him. And then he lived in this original spirit as Lord associate, Lord Vishnu. But after, Nimi had also cursed Vasishtha. So Vasishtha also had to give his body again. And then he was born then later he was again born through the heavenly damsel. Basically, there was a heavenly Apsara, a damsel, Urvashi, and Vasisht gave up his body, then he was born again. And this is the story of Sun Dynasty, which gets covered up to this stage. So then the next starts the Moon Dynasty. So that's where, after in the Moon Dynasty, Lord Krishna's story comes, which we already covered in the first phase. So in this, the lesson was greed. Greed is so dangerous. A Brahmana conducts a sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. But sage Vasisht wanted to conduct sacrifices for both Indra and Nimi out of greed for the Dakshinas. He was interested in Dakshina. So if he could have also said, I'll send one, I know some other priest, he can do it for you. What's the problem? We should, whenever we have opportunity, we should do this sacrifice, we should do this kirtan. So like sometimes what happens, two families want to do kirtan. So they approach, say, some devotees, we want to do kirtan. And there was times when there's a clash of the dates between both the families, both the people who want to do. But if the devotee who suggests, then he'll say, okay, I have already committed the year, but I'll send somebody to your place. He'll not tell, no, you postpone your kirtan for somebody else. If he says that, you wait for me, that means he's greedy. He's having some greed. He wants some gifts or something. So that should not be the thought process. So here the verses actually showed that one can acquire money and facilities as much as required for one's maintenance, but one shouldn't be exceedingly greedy. Even a Brahmana falls from his position if he afflicted by vices by greed. So basically, if he's afflicted by greed, he will fall down. And you will see, people who lose their virtue, they start falling down. So recently I saw ISKCON, although I should not name, ISKCON suspends sometimes some of the devotees which are part of ISKCON, when they because if they find that they are not following the rules when they do. So there are very famous personalities, famous people who do satsangs, and ISKCON has suspended them from saying, no, now you cannot be associated with ISKCON. And after that, they actually start falling. The reason why they suspend is because they have not done things. They have shown greed, or they are, doing satsang, the kirtan for earning money rather than, distributing the knowledge. They are distributing knowledge, but, their intention is more to get money. So then this is not correct. So that's where they start falling. So next we start with Somavamsa. Somavamsa is the Moon Dynasty. So there's first story of this is of King Satyavati and Richika. So Satyavati and Richika story, but there was a king Pururava who was a grandson of Som, the moon god. So he was a grandson, and he was very handsome and powerful. And he married a heavenly damsel named Urvashi. So he was very handsome, and he got attracted to Urvashi. And Urvashi also got attracted to King Pururava because he was handsome, and they got married. So, but after some time now, what happened? Urvashi left him. Urvashi left Pururava and went back to heaven. And then Pururava was actually so attached to Urvashi that he did sacrifices. And then he again attained Urvashi again. In Gandharva, he went to behind her. He went to that Gandharva lok where Urvashi stayed, and he again requested and got married with her. He again wanted to stay with her. Then again he spent a time with her, but he realized, he was losing his time. He was getting lost in the temporary enjoyment because he got over attached to Urvashi. And then he immediately, when he got the sense of realization, he left Urvashi and came back, and he started doing his meditation. So we see a lot of things, the attraction is there, and over attachment or over attraction leads to a fall. So there has to be a control, and we should detach. We should start slowly getting detached from our material life. So, but Pururava got that knowledge later, and in fact, Urvashi only helped him, guided him. You are getting too much attached. You should actually focus on this thing, and then he left. Then in this dynasty of Pururava, there was a king named Gadi, and he had a beautiful daughter named Satyavati. So Gadi was the son in this dynasty of Pururava. Pururava is the grandson of moon god, and then his daughter is there, Satyavati. And there was one sage called Richika. Richika approached King Gadi. Then again, he also requested, I would like to marry your daughter, Satyavati. So the third story which we are reading, something similar, where sage has approached King, I want to marry your daughter. And in all three scenarios, the father is actually concerned, the sage coming, he's weak, he's, he's not having wealth, and that way. But the sages have mystic powers, and with these mystic powers, they have actually overcome. So now in this case, say King Gadi. So this sage comes to Richika and he says, I would like to marry your daughter Satyavati. And when sages come, kings have no choice because sages will curse and they will fall. So, but when Gadi saw, felt, this Richika king is not a suitable. He's not suitable for my daughter. My daughter is so beautiful. How can I give it to a small sage? A beggar types. He's not suitable. So he gave him he said, no, you will have to give me a dowry. So he's asking, you give me a dowry. So the king is telling to sage Richika, you give me a dowry for marrying my daughter. So he says, I shall get, dear sage, I shall get my daughter married to you, but on one condition. You should bring 1,000 shining white horses. So what you bring? You bring 1,000 shining white horses, each having one black ear. So each white horse should have one black ear. It can be left or right, anyone. Anyone should black or white, anyone black ear and white shining horses. So the sage understood. So dowry system is very dangerous. So I was just realizing in small towns the dowry is still prominent. Recently my driver's her sister got married. So there's a list. So I see there also a list is given. A fridge square, scooty, a cupboard, this thing you have to give, and those things are kept in the marriage hall in a display. He is giving this thing. So this is still relevant. So when I was checking with one of the persons, why is this, so much in your village and this thing, in your villages particularly, why so much of dowry is taken? So one of my watchmen is there, a senior watchman, is explaining, he's telling the reason is like that. If they don't give, the dowry is taken by people whose sons are very educated. Suppose they are IAS or they are having a good job, they are graduates, they are doing good job, they ask for dowry. Otherwise, these girls will have to marry a 12th pass, 10th pass kind of a person. So that's the reason, otherwise, if that girl is willing to marry a 12th pass, 10th, so, but the rich people, who are educated, who have got their children educated, they ask for dowry. And that culture is still prevalent, which is, at least in cities, I'm finding that culture is reduced, but in villages still. So here also, this guy is asking for dowry. So now he's asking dowry from the son, not from he's asking from the sage, not from the girl. So now Sage Richika, what he said, he understood, that Gadi is not doesn't want his daughter to marry me, but he's a mystic. So immediately, he went to Varun Dev, who is a god of oceans. So Varun Dev went there. He requested him to give 1,000 horses the way Gadi wants. So Varun Dev gave him 1,000 horses with 1 ear black, one of the ears which is black. And King Gadi was shocked. I gave him such a tough condition, and immediately he brought so many horses the way I wanted, all white, shining horses. And and that also very soon. It was not, it took much time. And then he did not have a choice. So he agreed, and the marriage happened between Tej Richika and Satyavati. And after some time, Satyavati wanted a son. So Satyavati had this King Gadi had his wife also. So Satyavati also wanted a son, but King Gadi's wife also, she also desired a son. Means not at the same time, she also wanted a son. So now this is a little difficult. So now Satyavati is also asking a son and his mother. So Sage Ritika says, okay, I'll do a sacrifice for both of you. So since your mother is also wanting a son from King Gadi, and you are also wanting a son as my wife, I will do a sacrifice and I'll give you this thing. So what he did, so that you both get glorious sons. So then he performed a sacrifice and 2 oblations of rice, basically 2 kheer or rice prasad was given. So he gave one portion, one part of the this rice to his wife and one part of the rice to his mother-in-law. So both of them. But what he did for the rice which he gave to his wife, Satyavati, it was of mantras of Brahmana, so that she gets a son who becomes a Brahmana. And whereas to his mother-in-law, who was the wife of King Gadi, a Kshatriya, he gave a bowl of rice which was of Kshatriya mantra, so that she gets a Kshatriya mantra. But here there's a there's a turn in the story. So this was his thought, but he did not tell both of them. But in this way, he gave them the rice, and after that he went away. So, which was his proper thought. But after that, sage Rachika went out for taking a bath. Satyavati's mother, became envious. She thought that my daughter, because she's he's the husband of my daughter, he would have given her a very nice, better option. Her son will be nice. So she told to Satyavati, give me your portion of your oblation of me, because your husband loves you. He must have prepared a special oblation for you. I wish to have it. Saying you, so Satyavati was, very innocent and very loving to her mother. So she said, okay, mom, take it. So they exchanged the oblation. Now they exchanged the oblation, and after some time, when sage returned, and they ate it before the sage also comes back. So she ate it, and both of them ate it. But sage Rachika came to know what has happened. Then he spoke to his wife Satyavati, because you have exchanged the oblations with your mother, your son will be a fierce Kshatriya who will punish everyone. And your mother's son will be a scholarly Brahmana. Because you have done this now, so you have done a problem. And Satyavati was surprised, and she felt guilty that, she could not understand her wise husband, who was so impartial in nature. He was very impartial. He did the right thing. To his mother-in-law, he gave a Kshatriya mantra, Brahmana, Kshatriya mantra, right? And to his, yeah, Meera, anything you want to say? Okay, so this way, this Sage Rachika was actually impartial. Yeah, Meera?
I have another class,
Okay, no problem.
so I need to leave.
Okay,
Please
no issue.
share the recording.
Yeah, we'll put the recording. So this happened. Now there's no choice. So his mother-in-law will get a Brahmana son, and she will get a Kshatriya. Now she was, she felt offended. She felt very sad. She then begged forgiveness from her husband, Richika. And then he said, no, please let my son not become a Kshatriya for my mistake. I'm a Brahmana's wife. It would be more appropriate to give a birth to a son with Brahminical qualities like tolerance, forgiveness, scholarship, and self-control. So what are the Brahmana's qualities? Tolerance, forgiveness, scholarship, and self-control. These are the main qualities. Then Richika replied, it is impossible to change the effects of what you have done. But seeing your repentance, because you have sought forgiveness, I can postpone the effects of the oblations you done. I can just postpone. So I bless that your son will be a Brahmana, but your grandson will become a courageous Kshatriya. So he said, okay, your son will become a Brahmana, but the grandson, the son of your son, he will become a Kshatriya. So I can only defer for one generation. So this is what he did. So after some time, what happened? Satyavati's mother, who got the Brahmana's oblation, she gave us birth to a son named Vishwamitra. So that's the reason Vishwamitra was born in a Kshatriya family, but he became a Brahman. Because of this incident which happened, because of these oblations which were exchanged with his daughters. And also Vishwamitra was born a Kshatriya, later he became a great Brahmana sage. And Satyavati gave a birth to a son named Jamadagni. So Jamadagni is a son who was born to Satyavati, and he was also a great Brahmana. And his son was Kshatriya, who was his son? Parshuram. Lord Parshuram comes the son of Jamadagni. So later Jamadagni married Renuka and gave birth to many sons, of whom the youngest was Parshuram. Born with Kshatriya qualities, Parshuram was an incarnation of Lord Krishna. So he was incarnation of Lord Krishna. We all know Parshuram is one of the incarnations. And he came, and then he destroyed the unrighteous and Kshatriyas 21 times on the earth. So we'll read of Parshuram. So this is a story of Satyavati and Richika. Here we come to know how Parshuram was born, Lord Parshuram was born, and how Satyavati and his mother-in-law exchanged the oblations of rice, because of which Satyavati's mother had to give a birth to Vishwamitra, and Jamadagni was born to Satyavati, and then his son was Lord Parshuram. So now we have next stories of Parshuram. So we have covered two small stories. So in the first one we read about Nimi Maharaj and sage versus how because he acted in greed and he did not do the sacrifice, and that incident happened. This we read about how Satyavati here learning is trust your husband, trust your uh, who's Brahmana, trust the Brahmana. He'll do fair. He's fair in life. He'll never do something which is, he'll not unnecessarily favor somebody. So in this case, what happened? The mother-in-law did not trust, and her wife also, his wife also actually did not believe trust her husband, and because of it, this incident happened. Then this was a reason. Probably this was God's will also, that Lord Parshuram had to come and kill the this thing unrighteous Kshatriyas who were creating violence. So now, why Parshuram kills Kshatriyas is given in the next chapter. So why he was a warrior? So there was a king named Kart, uh, Kartavir Arjuna. Kartavir Arjuna was a very powerful king. He was in a part of Haya dynasty. He was not in the Moon dynasty. He was a separate. He was a king in a Haya dynasty. And he lived in a place called Mahismati at capital with his 10,000 sons. So this was a Kartavir Arjuna was, Veera Arjuna was a powerful king with 10,000 sons. And he worshipped Lord Dattatreya. So Lord Dattatreya, we have heard the story of Lord Dattatreya, how Lord Dattatreya was born to Mother Anasuya and Atri Muni. So Mother Anasuya and Atri Muni, they prayed to Lord, and Lord came so they prayed to Lord, and Lord Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all three combined incarnation came to came as a son of Atri Muni and Anasuya. So there are a couple of stories, as you know. Anasuya also this wives of Lord Vishnu, Brahma and Mahesh, they wanted to test Anasuya because she was very chaste and very her glories were being told around the whole universe. So they had heard about her, and then she wanted to test. And then Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they all three went to test as small children. They went to test as brahmanas. So they went to test Anasuya as brahmanas. They told, you give us, so when offerings, and when she went to give her offerings, they said, no, we cannot accept like this. You have to come undressed and some this way. So then she prayed to the Lord, and then she prayed to her husband, and these Lord Brahma Vishnu became small children of one day. And then she gave them feedings, and then they were staying like that. And then when everybody was, all three were pleased with them, and then they blessed them with a son who will be a combination. So you see Lord Dattatreya, who is a combination of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So it's a three-headed deity which is there. So this Kartiva Arjuna did a lot of austerities, and he received a rare boon of possessing 1,000 arms. So he had 1,000 arms, basically 1,000 hands, which he got, and he was undefeatable and solid, powerful, very astonishing mystic power. And once he was, enjoying near river Narmada, he's playing there. He was doing water sports, and then with his 1,000 arms, he could even stop the river Narmada. He stopped that river like a dam. He created a dam kind of a thing so that river can go, and we enjoyed there. And because of this, what happened? The river started flowing in the opposite direction, and it entered the camp of Ravana. So Ravana was staying somewhere. The river Narmada entered there because of this, and Ravana was worshipping at that place. And then Ravana became angry, furious. So if Ravana was 10-headed, and he wanted to fight with Kartavirjuna. But Kartavirjuna, Veerarjuna defeated Ravana. So Ravana was defeated by many people. It was not that Ravana had won against everyone. So Bali Maharaj had also taken him in his armpit, and he was roaming, taking Ravana around the universe for many days. So that's the reason he was afraid of Bali. Why he made friendship with Bali is because he could not defeat him. So if somebody cannot defeat somebody, so make a friendship with him. That's a right political thing we people do. If somebody is more powerful than you, make friendship with them. So that's what Ravana did. But here also, Kartivarjuna immediately, Ravana thought, I'll defeat him, but he lost. Then in fact, Kartivir Arjuna, he arrested Ravana, and he was like as if he was a small monkey, and he arrested and kept him. Then Ravana, then he released, to show his superiority, saying, okay, now I'm releasing you. Go. So that's why he released Ravana. So Ravana immediately went. And then this was the power of Kartavi Arjuna. So now what happened? Once he went to hunt in the forest. So when he was wandering in the forest, he felt thirsty. So he went into he was feeling hungry, and they were tired along with his people. He went there. So there he saw a hermitage of sage Jamadagni. So Jamadagni now comes into picture. So Jamadagni was a sage, he was a Brahmana. So he was living in the forest. So when Jamadagni saw that the king has come, what he did, he welcomed him and he gave him everything, whatever he asked. So he could give everything, all kind of good food, milk, whatever he wanted, he could give him. So and very easily. So this king is thinking, this sage is living in a forest, no facilities, nothing, living in a small hermitage. Whatever I'm asking, he's arranging. He's not having any hotel or behind, it's not like he's calling us Swiggy or Zomato or getting something. No, but he's getting everything. So he was wondering how the simple sage living in a forest can provide so many lavish facilities to my soldiers. Something seems to be suspicious. So whenever somebody starts having a suspicion on any sage, guru, this thing, then his fall is final, is confirmed. So here, Kartikeya Arjuna, he found out that this sage Jamadagni had a cow called Kamadhenu cow. So Kamadhenu was a very mystical cow, and that could supply anything to the sage she wanted. So we had that cow. So Kamadhenu cow is very, very blissful. Lord Krishna loves that cow. In fact, if you see in Lord Krishna's pastime, when Indra's pride was broken by Lord Krishna when the rains happened, and Lord Krishna hold this Govardhan mountain for 7 days. Lord Indra had to come for forgiveness. So Lord Indra realized, Lord Krishna is a supreme Lord. So when he went to Lord Brahma, what should I do? So he seek forgiveness from Lord Krishna, but you take Kamdenu cow along with you, so that he'll forgive you faster. So that's when. Surabhi, yes. I thought, then I got confused. It's a Surabhi cow, so okay. So Surabhi cow, okay. He got Surabhi cow. Thanks for correcting, Matai. But okay, so that cow is irrelevant. So here I stand corrected. That was Surabhi cow. So Surabhi cow was taken by Lord Indra, and then Lord forgive. So here it's Kamdenu cow, basically my mistake. So but here this king, he saw that this Kamdenu cow is giving him everything, and he couldn't tolerate. He became envious. See, this is again one more sign of the king. First thing, he's very proud, and then he's becoming envious. He is becoming suspicion. He's having a suspicion on the face, and he's become envious. And he's saying, how can he keep this such a cow? So then he rudely demanded, Jamadagni, you are a mere sage in the forest. This exquisite cow is of no use to you. I want your Kamdenu cow. But Jamadagni replied, said, you cannot ask for a Brahmana's property. My Kamadhenu cow provides all the ingredients for my regular sacrifices and worship. Without this cow, I won't be able to conduct my devotional ceremony. So he's requesting the sages, saying, no, I cannot, please. Don't take this cow. So, but the king was very arrogant. He did not. The king ordered his soldiers, you bring the cow along with a calf. So there was a calf also, you bring to my capital. And following this order, Kartivarjuna forcefully dragged the Kamdhenu cow and her calf. So Jamadagni became helpless and he watched this cow being taken away. And when Lord Parshuram came to know about this nefarious activity of king, he became very furious. He became angry like a snake, trampled like a snake, and he took up his weapons and chased Kartivarjuna just as a lion chases an elephant. Seeing raging Parshuram in a black deer skin with matted lock hair that shone like the sun, Kartivarjuna became fearful. He then sent his 17 Akshauhinis of armies. So 17 Akshonis, it's a set of armies of, I think, X number of horses, elephants, and soldiers, war soldiers, a group. So one Akshini, we had read there. So it is a set of some, I think, 16,000 is a set of so many soldiers, which are some are on the horse, on elephant, and war soldiers. So this 17 sets were sent by this king to attack Parshuram, Lord Parshuram. But Lord Parshuram, with his weapons, he killed all of them immediately. And he cut their arms, legs, everything, and at the speed of mind and wind. So actually, Lord Parshuram, I can correlate now with, when the Kalki avatar will come, so Kalki avatar will also come with a sword and he will also be killing all unwanted people on the earth. So same way, Lord Parshuram killed these Kshatriyas who were creating nuisance on the universe. So at the speed of mind and wind, and he killed the soldiers, the drivers, elephants, and horses effortlessly. And that whole battlefield became drenched with blood as Parshuram single-handedly killed all the warriors. Then Kartavirjuna rushed onto the battlefield personally. So he personally came, and then he had 1,000 arms. So with his 1,000 arms, what he did, he fixed arrows. He took 500 arrows because for holding an arrow and bow, you need two arms. So with 1,000 arms, he used 500 bows, and with that, he pulled the arrows. But Parshuram had released enough arrows with one bow only that all these weapons were cut down. So that was power of Lord Parshuram. With so many 500 arrows coming at a time, he could kill them. Then Kartavirjuna with his 1,000 arms, again he pulled trees, mountains, and he started throwing on the Lord around Lord Parshuram. But again Parshuram slashed them down with his powerful axe. And finally Parshuram cut off all the 1,000 hands of this king Kartavirjuna. So he cut all the hands, and finally his head was cut. So then, and he brought the glorious cow back to his father. So he brought the Kamdhenu cow back and gave it to his with a calf and gave it to Jamadagni. But Jamadagni did not appreciate this. He never told his son, you go and fight and kill and bring this Kamdhenu back. But he did it. So Jamadagni told, killing a king is sinful. You cannot do that because you cannot kill a king. He's also an embodiment of all the devtas. So a king is supposed to be an embodiment of all the devtas. And he's a protector of all citizens. He should not be killed this way, even if he has committed an offense. So then he told his son, we Brahmanas have become worshipable by people because of our quality of forgiveness. And said, since we are a Brahmanas, we are supposed to forgive people. We are not supposed to kill people. So what you have done is wrong. So what do? You go to all holy places and atone for your sinful act. So he suggested you visit for 1 year, you keep on traveling to all places. So then Parshuram was a very obedient son. He agreed. He immediately went for atonement. So he went for the holy places for 1 year. So then, but what happened now when Lord Parshuram is gone now? So he's gone for atonement. His father is there. Then his 10,000 sons were there because now Kartavirjuna was killed. Now his 10,000 sons, they became angry. They became sad. And they came to take revenge. So when they came to take revenge, they saw that Parshuram is not there. Only Jamadagni was there. And then Jamadagni was sitting and he was doing meditating. These people, this 10,000 sons, what they did, they cut off the head of Jamadagni, his father. So, and his wife, the sage's wife, Renuka, was sitting there, and she started crying. And she cried, and then she cried for Lord Parshuram. So Parshuram was actually touring. He was on the tour of holy tour. And because of her cries, Lord Parshuram could hear that cry. So it happens, many times. You will see, somebody remembers you, so you sitting here, you realize. So when his mother Renuka cried for him, Parshuram immediately rushed there. So he heard and he immediately rushed. So he immediately came there. And there he saw that his father was killed. And then he became furious, he was so sad and angry. So he was having a mixed feeling of sad and angry. Then immediately what he did, he entrusted the dead body of his father to his other brothers, and he decided to put an end to all the proud and cruel Kshatriyas, because Kshatriyas were doing wrong. Killing a sage is one of the biggest mistakes. So Parshuram immediately went to the city of Mahismati, and he killed all the 10,000 sons of Kartavirjuna. And he created a mountain of the heads in the middle of the city. So it was again, full blood was flowing there. And this thing, and this will cause fear who disrespect Brahmanas. So this created fear in the heart of the Kshatriyas because of their disrespect to the Brahmanas. And after that, Parshuram actually he did, he killed the Brahmanas 21 times. So and after that, we have heard now Lord Parshuram had killed Kshatriyas 21 times, because those Kshatriyas who were not following proper religious practices, they had become proud, and they were they were troubling people. So in one of the lectures I heard, who is a asura, who is a demon? Asura or a demon is a person who troubles others. So one person who troubles others is a demon. So in Kali Yuga, anybody, if we are troubling somebody, unnecessarily we are demons. So demon doesn't mean that he has a body of very ugly looking, or he's having like a different body. It's not that way. In Kali Yuga, a demon is a person who troubles others. So here the Kshatriyas had started troubling others and they were creating nuisance. So that's the reason Lord Parshuram killed the Kshatriyas 21 times. And with that he had created 9 lakes with their blood at a place called Samata Panchak. Then Parshuram then joined his father's head and placed it on the kusagras and worshipped Lord Krishna for a sacrifice. And he brought his father back to life. And Jamadagni was given life back. And Jamadagni becomes one of the 7 sages. So there are 7 sages, Saptarishi. And Saptarishis are the ones who rotate, who revolve around the pole star. The Dhruv planet is there. The 7 rishis, Saptarishis, are revolving around that. And these Saptarishis are Kashyap, Atri, Vashisht, Vishwamitra, Gautam, Jamadagni, and Bharadwaj. So these are the 7 stars, and these 7 stars are seen every night, and each make a complete orbit around the pole star within 24 hours. So within 24 hours they complete one round. So they are around the pole star. And Lord Parshuram, after that, he left and he still lives in Mahendra Mountains. So we say that Lord Parshuram is still present in this world, like Hanuman, Lord Hanuman. Lord Parshuram is also present, and he stays in Mahendra Mountains. In this way, the Supreme Lord descended as Parshuram Avatar in the Bhrigu dynasty and released the universe from the burden of undesirable kings by killing them many times. So this is a lesson on responsibility. The lesson on responsibility is the ruling class is responsible for humanity, peace. See, responsibility should be given to a person who can take that responsibility. So if a person is not competent, we cannot give a big responsibility to them. So that's where Duryodhan, we could not make King Duryodhan as a king because he's irresponsible. He's not competent. So the ruling classes who take responsibility, they are responsible for humanity's peace, prosperity, security, and spiritual lives. But sometimes the kings become demoniac, tormenting the citizens and disrespecting the brahmanas. Thus they become a great burden to the earth. In such cases, the Lord takes responsibility for punishing irresponsible kings, protecting the innocent, and establishing dharma on the earth. This is exactly what Lord Parshuram did. So Lord Parshuram came to establish dharma because the Kshatriyas were not following the dharma. They were not following the religious texts. So this is the story of Parshuram in this thing. Then next, there are 2-3 stories. Maybe one session we'll take to complete this book of Srimad Bhagavatam Tales. So maybe in that session we'll do on Monday. Today we'll end. Any questions? Or anyone wants to share something? We can just end session. Okay. Vancha kalpatrubhayascha kripa sindhubhaya eva cha patitanam pavane bhayo vaishnave bhayo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare